Hello everyone, welcome again. And today is the day we finished the last chapter from the concise Yoga Vasistha by Swami Venkateshanand. So we have already finished 5 chapters from it. Just the last chapter is pending. It's called On Liberation. After listening to Vasistha's discourse for almost, I think, 8 days already passed, this is the chapter where Ram reaches enlightenment. So Ram says, all my doubts have been dispelled. I am free from attraction and resistance. I am established in nature. I am well. I rest in the self and I am happy. I am Ram in whom the worlds find their refuge. Salutations to me and salutations to you. Now Vashishtha then continues with his discourse, and he wants that this realization in Ram is properly established. Vashishtha now talks about ignorance. He says, ignorance of the self is the source of all troubles and calamities. Is there a single trouble that does not spring from ignorance of the self? The entire creation is pervaded by ignorance which sustains it. Only in the heart of the wicked man grows the dreadful tree of infatuation. In the forest of his vicious heart rages the fire of hate. His mind is flooded with jealousy, giving rise to the growth of weeds of destructive criticism of others. The only lotus his heart knows is envy, which is shot by the bees of endless worry. So, because of this ignorance of self and limited identification, arises the problem of infatuation, the hatred, jealousy, envy, destructive criticism of others out of that, the envy, and endless worries. So basically all problems in the world stem from a limited false idea of the self, the egotism. If we look into it, it is actually very true. It's only because we see ourselves as this body, this person, and others as outsiders, different from us, that we feel jealousy, comparison, we get into greed, vanity, you name it. And it reminds me of this famous dialogue from David Advocate's movie where Al Pacino is playing the part of the devil, and he says that he quotes a quote from Bible saying, vanity is my favorite sin. And eventually, it is this egotism that leads to all other sins. The limited identity we have is the reason we hurt others. If we could see others as part of ourselves, then we'll not be hurting. We don't need to teach people compassion. And that is the very reason people who are enlightened, they naturally grow compassionate, because they see everyone as a part of themselves. They don't have the limited identification anymore. It also reminds me of a quote Sadhguru once said, that compassion cannot choose. If your compassion is judging, then it is not really compassion. It is rather taking a side, a political or moral decision. Ram, which is now enlightened, says, Lord, by your grace I am fully awakened to the reality. My delusion has vanished. I shall do as you bid me to do. I rest peacefully in the state of one who is liberated even while living. Tell me how one reaches the state of liberation by the strength of prana. So now the conversation moves to the topic of yoga. Vasishtha, to demystify this topic of yoga and how it leads to liberation, narrates to Ram a story of Kaag Bhushanda. The story of Kaag Bhushanda. In one corner of Mount Meru, there is a wish-fulfilling tree. On the tree, there dwells a crow named Bhushanda, who is utterly free from all attractions and aversions. There is none on earth or in heaven who has lived longer than he has. If any of you can live as he lives, that shall be regarded as highly laudable and meritorious life. So Vasishtha travels to Mount Meru one day to meet Kaag Bhushanda. And on meeting Vasishtha, Kaag Bhushanda is equally delighted. He is happy to meet Vasishtha because Vasishtha is a very popular and famous sage. Then Vasishtha asks Bhushanda to enlighten him on his birth and how he managed to live through different world cycles. So Bhushanda starts with narrating his life story first, how through yoga he was actually able to survive through all the different cosmic cycles. So after the topic of yoga, where they discuss different dharanas. The concept of dharana is also mentioned in the most popular yogic text that we have, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. So dharana essentially means contemplation, and Bhushanda, what he does is he contemplates on different elements to survive through all these world events. So Vasishtha asks Bhushanda, at the end of the life of the cosmos, when everything is dissolved, how have you managed to survive? And Bhushanda replies, when the 12 cosmic sun pour unbearable heat upon this creation, I practice the Varuni dharana and remain unaffected. Now Varuna is the lord of waters, and Varuni dharana is the contemplation of Varuna, water. When the wind blows with such a force that it can uproot even mountains, I practice the Parvati dharana. Parvata is mountain, and Parvati dharana is contemplation of the mountain. And when the universe is flooded with waters of cosmic dissolution, I practice Vayu dharana. Vayu is wind. There I remain as if in a deep sleep till the beginning of the next cosmic cycle. Vasishtha then asks Bhushanda, because he have been through such cosmic cycles, narrate to me, tell me something interesting of all these different cosmic cycles that you have survived. Because as per his knowledge, Bhusanda is the one person who has been living for the longest time. So Bhusanda tells Vasishtha about many extraordinary events of previous world cycles, which interestingly points to various Anthropocene events that we have had, like throughout the history of our Earth. There was a time Earth was like a hot, molten ball of lava. There was a time when Earth was flooded with water. There was a time when the Earth was covered in ice, the Ice Age. So interestingly, Bhushanda covers almost many such Anthropocene events. He says, I remember that once upon a time there was nothing on this earth, neither trees and plants, not even mountains. For a period of 11,000 years, the earth was covered by lava. In those days, there was neither day nor night below the polar region. For in the rest of the earth, neither the sun nor the moon shone. Apart from the polar region, the rest of the earth was covered with water. And then for a very long time, the whole earth was covered with forests, except the polar region. Then there arose great mountains, but without any human inhabitants. So in a way, also reference to the how Himalayas came into existence when different plates collided together, and then out of that collision, Himalayan ranges came into existence. During my lifetime, I have seen the appearance and disappearances of countless Manu. At one time, the world was devoid of the gods and demons, but was only radiant cosmic egg. At another time, the earth was populated by Brahmana, member of the priest class, who were addicted to alcohol, Shudra, who ridiculed the gods and polyandrous women. I also remember another epoch where the earth was covered with forest, when the oceans could not even be imagined, and when human beings were spontaneously created. I saw that during one epoch it was Lord Vishnu who created the universe, during another it was Brahma, and in another it was Shiva who became the creator. Whatever is happening in the present creation has happened exactly in the same manner during 3 previous creations. So interesting concepts, right? Different universes Bhusanda has been into, has seen many world cycles. Vasishtha and Bhushanda then discuss different yogic concepts, like the concept of vital layers in yoga, prana, apana, samana. They also talk about pranayam and the concept of rechika, purana and kumbhaka. So retention of the breath, meditation on inhalation, exhalation, retention, all these concepts they are covering. Now, after discussing all these various concepts, Vasishtha then turns to Rama and says, rather passionately, that, O Rama, for your spiritual awakening, I declare again and again that this world appearance is like a long dream. Wake up, and behold the self which shines like a sun. So Vasishtha has told Rama everything he has to tell him, and he have repeated another time. It's just the matter of realization now. And as Vasishtha utters these words, Ram enters a deep spiritual state. Now Vasishtha, who suddenly became silent when he found that Ram was completely absorbed in the self, resumed his discourse after an interval, after Ram had returned to normal consciousness. So Ram has reached a deep spiritual state, completely absorbed in the self-realization. So Vasishtha waits for him to return to his normal consciousness. At this point, Ram is already enlightened and he has realized himself, but still there are various concepts that Vasishtha feels needs to be discussed, and Ram still has many questions. One such question is the nature of the Supreme Being, what we call as God. What is the nature of the God?